Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Lorraine Taylor and this is Do Brand You. It's all about you. It's about you unleashing your potential in every season of life. Today is a Friday chat video where I go behind the scenes and share strategies and perspectives, ideas, thoughts that help you on your journey. Now, it is the first video I'm making for 2025. And I have in the last week been reflecting a lot on what do I want out of 2025. And here's the thing, as I've been reflecting on this, what I want this next year to be, I found myself asking or kind of hearing that voice in my head, what's my purpose? What's my purpose this year? And I realized that this question, what is my purpose? I don't really like that question. It feels like an overwhelming question, a bit abstract, and it's just kind of doesn't really have, it's really a very difficult question to answer. So instead of saying, where do I want, what is my purpose? I reframed it and I asked myself this question. Where do I want to show up? And that's what I said. Where do I want to show up in 2025? And when I think about where those places might be, I thought of where. One place is my business. And the business that, it's an exciting year for me. I've done a brand refresh over the past year. It's kind of all launching out now, and I'm excited about what is coming up in my business. And I'm going to show up there. It's a place that I want to add value to. There's people that I want to serve by the business that I create. Where else do I want to show up? Well, I thought about relationships that I have, family, friends, community groups that I belong to. I want to show up there. I want to add value to those places. And I also thought about where else do I want to show up? And I thought about, I want to show up in really intentionally living a healthy life, because I know that I can unleash my potential, that I can do the best version of myself when I am living a healthy life. And showing up means going for the walks in the morning. It means choosing to spend the time to cook healthy food. It means intentionally looking after myself, giving myself time to take time off and to nurture myself. And it wasn't just this question of where do I want to show up? And I want to spend the rest of the video kind of talking about these actual 3 questions that I ended up asking myself. So I did, where do I want to show up? But that was followed by, why do I want to show up there? Why do I want to? And then, how can I show up there? Because if I knew where I wanted to show up and why I wanted to and how I was going to do it, then I knew that that would be my answer to living a purposeful life, taking intentional, actionable steps to really make 2025 year what I want it to be. But before we get into that, I mean, that's where I've been, and I want to kind of just take a step back now as you begin to think about where you want to show up. And as you maybe ponder the idea of, do you really like the question, what is my purpose? Because I've actually asked people, and a lot of people have told me that question is a really difficult question to answer. And why is that question so difficult? Well, for one, the question, what is your purpose, assumes that there's this single magical answer that you're going to come up with, like it's some treasure that you found that you're supposed to dig up and hold on to for the rest of your life. But the reality is your purpose. It's not this static, grand thing. It's our circumstances, our priorities, our values, they shift as we grow. We know here at Do Brand You to unleash your potential in every season of life because we evolve. Personal brands are not static. You as a personal brand are evolving all the time. So purpose seems to be making it feel like you have to put this grand meaning of life into one little box. And it doesn't happen. That's not how it works. And when I look back on the times in my life, I ask myself, is there times that I felt like I was living with purpose? Yeah. When I look back over what happened before, I can see that I was living with purpose. And I ask myself, well, what does that mean? It meant that I can tell you times that I felt that that my life mattered, that I was doing something that was meaningful, and that I was showing up in a place that either for loved ones, for something that I cared about, for whatever it was, for a business, for a job, wherever I was showing up, that mattered and it gave meaning to my life. And the thing is, we know that giving meaning to your life is something that we as humans all strive for. So here's where it gets really interesting when you start thinking about like purpose and showing up and meaning. In the Do Book Club, it's just part of the Do community that you should really think about joining if you haven't, but more on that later. We were reading a book by Viktor Frankl, and his very famous book that he wrote called Man's Search for Meaning. It was a book I'd heard about, I had never read before, and when one of the Do Book Club members suggested this book, I was really happy. It's a heavy book. It's kind of a really heavy book, but it is a very, very powerful book, very, very infused with a lot of meaning and truths in it. And Viktor Frankl found that meaning, to have meaning in your life, to get meaning in your life, it comes from action, not just from sitting still or overanalyzing. Frankl famously wrote that meaning is found in the way we respond to life's challenges, in the actions we take, and in the relationships that we cultivate. We find meaning when we are actively involved, when we are doing. Neuroscience backs this up too. When we engage in activities that are aligned with our values, meaning we are on our way to navigating our true north, our brains reward us with a sense of fulfillment. That's why taking small steps, however imperfect, is more powerful than trying to answer a big, overwhelming question like, what is your purpose? You might be finding meaning in life by taking a small, challenging step, and that's where you're finding meaning. Is that your purpose? Purpose isn't something that you find. It's something that you create by showing up. And we can think of purpose when we think back on our life. As I start 2025, I'm using these 3 questions. Where do I want to show up? Why do I want to show up there? And how am I going to show up there? To guide me to navigate to my true north this year. And to help me to unleash my potential, to use my innate skills and talents, to develop those skills and talents so that I can intentionally live and live with a life of meaning. I don't know, is that my purpose? I don't know, it's where I'm going to show up. These questions help me focus on what's truly important instead of getting caught up in the noise of trying to find out what my purpose is. They've helped me to see that purpose isn't static, it's dynamic, just like life. And it changes as we grow, and that's okay too. So I really wanted to share this with you. If you are listening to this at the beginning of 2025, I really encourage you to seek out a year ahead of a life of meaning, to choose to have meaning in your life, to choose to live a purposeful life, to live a meaningful life. But how do you do that? And you do it really simple by just asking these 3 questions. Where do I want to show up? Why do I want to show up there? And how do I show up there? So if this has resonated with you, I really appreciate hitting that subscribe button. That subscribe button is free. It doesn't cost anything, but it supports this channel. And as this channel gets supported, it gets directed to more people. And I would say my purpose, where I'm going to find meaning in life is to share with people, to encourage them, inspire them to live the best version of themselves, to unleash their potential. If this resonated with you and you've got some ideas about where you're going to show up, please think about putting those in the comments below. It's always great to hear from you. In the link below, or in the description below, there's a link to join the Do Connect newsletter. You can find out more about the Do community, the Do book club that I mentioned. I give monthly. It comes out monthly, and I give updates and coupon codes that you can use with things that I offer. So thanks for showing up. I will see you next Friday. Have a great time and enjoy showing up.